Good afternoon and happy Wednesday, everybody. First Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips coming to you from our First Alert desk. We're going to be hanging out this afternoon. I know it's a fantastic day with all that sunshine, but we are going to be talking about some other exciting things like the Northern Lights. I'm pretty sure most of us were able to catch those just last Friday. We're also going to be talking about tick season and how that is already underway. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things that are probably a little bit higher on your radar, and maybe that you have just experienced, again, those lights, or even with the ticks and you have some camping plans or even just enjoying the backyard. You may find that those conditions might get a little bit, well, interesting as far as those ticks. But of course, we thank you for joining us. We'll give it here a little time for people to join in. Just know, if you want to have your friends, family, if you really enjoy hanging out with me during the afternoons, we hope that you still tell your family and friends to join us. They can catch us on YouTube. We're also on WNEM.com. All you have to do is hit that live stream tab. You can also find us on the weather app. We usually send out that push alert, which I actually just got on my cell phone. So make sure that you have those alerts going and active so that you know when we're going live and that you don't miss out on any of the fun and interesting things that we're going to be talking about. Now, I am going to actually share some of the photos that we got from quite a few of our viewers on Friday. So I'm going to start with this one. This one comes in from Kathy. She, I didn't get the information of where this was actually taken, but you are going to find that this is just kind of what I was able to see that night as well. So I'm anticipating that this shot was taken kind of looking directly above. We had that magenta kind of fuchsia color going on. You can even see the pillars kind of coming to that corona. Meteorologist Kyle Gillette, he's really our Northern Lights expert, but you can kind of see it coming into that corona right there, and then all those pillars leading in. Of course, this was a geomagnetic storm, kind of ranking that level 5. So that is the strongest that it can be, kind of not the same as hurricanes, but you know how we rank hurricanes 1 through 5. This geomagnetic storm with the rankings 1 through 5 reaching its top. We haven't seen in the United States a storm of that strength since 2003. So it's been a while. Because it was so strong, we were able to see it even in the city with the lights on. A lot of times we don't see the lights. You know, with the lights, it kind of dulls out those brighter colors that we're able to get. Another picture, it looks like Kathy sent in quite a few that night. I thought this one was pretty interesting with some of those greens and the pinks that we had. So just kind of fun to kind of remember what we had, because not everybody has seen the Northern Lights until last Friday. And we're going to find that a lot of us are now going to be chasing those lights. I know it's always exciting when we get that word that, oh, the lights are coming. We want to take a look to see if we can get another good picture of them. Here's another one that Kathy took. A lot of those fuchsia, brighter colors. You can still even see some of the stars in there. So definitely it was a great night. We did have some cloud cover. I know in my pictures I had a little bit of cloud cover in mine, and it kind of dulled the experience as the later the night came on, but it was still pretty exciting nonetheless to still see it and to not have to go very far to see it. With the lights coming to us, of course, a lot of people were able to see them much further south than what we had here in mid-Michigan. This photo, though, this is from Kathy in Bay City. So a little more of that greener color with some of those fuchsia stripes kind of fitting in. I really love that really bright green color. I also want to point out, it looks like we have quite a bit of light there in the bottom right hand corner. So to be able to see these conditions, the lights as well as we can in this photo, considering that there was some street lights and city lights, that's pretty exciting. Here's another one that's pretty exciting. Let's see who sent this in. This is also from Kathy in Bay City. I kind of like the purples in this one. Of course, a lot of the images look the same, and it was kind of interesting to be out there that night to see it, because you see the conditions where we do have you see it with your own eyes, and then you pull your camera up and you take that picture, and it's just a little more vivid. The cell phone camera is able to kind of pick up on that light better, even kind of the snap cameras do. So it's just so interesting how the mechanics of those work. So of course we had a lot of these pictures sent into us. If you want to share pictures of what you have going on, whether it's the northern lights or if you have weather that you see, of course when we have severe weather, it's always helpful for us to know what's going on at the ground in all these different cities. So if you have a picture that you can safely take, we do not encourage you to go out in severe weather. Just wait for the storm to pass if you do want to capture any storm photos. But of course you can share those with us on the TV5 First Alert weather app. And also you can do that on the TV5 News app. So there's going to be a section in there where you can submit a photo. I'm actually going to open up the app here and make sure I can guide you to it correctly, because we do have it kind of right at the bottom of the app. You're going to see at the very bottom there, it says submit your photos. So you click that, and then all you have to do is follow through the prompts, upload your photo, and you may be able to see it here on the First Alert Digital Desk. You may also see it over the air. So of course you'll have to stay tuned for that. But there was a lot of excitement as far as the lights. Of course, through the weekend, a lot of us were, hey, can we go back-to-back nights to see it? So we were hoping to be able to catch another glimpse of it going through the weekend, but we actually wanted to reach out to some of the local scientists to see, as far as one, the peak, but also how it affects some of our daily lives, meaning our GPS systems. I know some of you had mentioned that your power was out kind of for no reason over the weekend, and the geomagnetic storms can kind of mess with the magnetic field, and that messes some of that stuff up because our power built on the magnetic field, GPS of course using satellites, so that's why you may have found some satellite disruptions and so forth. But we do have experts who were able to talk with TV5 on that. So earlier this week we had our reporter James Felton. He talked with those experts, and I'm going to share with you now what he learned.
Well, many of you saw the northern lights that lit up the sky over the weekend. Not only was it a spectacular show, but it also caused some disruptions to technology.
TV5's James Felton reports on the science behind the northern lights and how the solar storms can actually affect us here on the ground.
It can have a really dramatic effect.
The intense geomagnetic storm most of us saw this past weekend can do a number on the technology we use. Robert McMahon, the president of Kettering University, who is also the professor of physics, told us how that happens.
When you impinge a magnetic field on a long pipe or a long wire or an antenna or something like that, it induces a current. It can cause a current flow. That's how motors work. Moving wires in magnetic fields. And so that current interferes with whatever's supposed to be in the wire, be that electrical current for houses, for homes, the power grid.
McMahon says things like GPS, video, and television transmissions can all be impacted by the geomagnetic storm.
When you have that much hot plasma, hot gas hitting the outer atmosphere, the ionosphere, it actually heats the atmosphere and distorts transmissions and reflections of signals inside of in the Earth. So, you can have a lot of implications that, static, everything from static to white to, making it impossible to transmit.
McMahon tells us the sun goes through a cycle of activity every 11 years, and he says we're at the peak of that cycle right now. So if you get a chance to check out the auroras, McMahon thinks you should.
There's blues and purples in the colors, and that's the nitrogen in the atmosphere, and then you've got greens and reds, and that's the oxygen. So you're actually seeing kind of like a neon lamp in the front of a store operates by the same principle, and you're seeing actually the chemical composition of the atmosphere in the colors that you see in the aurora. It's kind of neat.
And we've received hundreds of your pictures from the northern lights, and we want to see more if you have some good ones. You can upload them through our website.
So as far as those conditions for the northern lights, like James
Tom Brady is trying to track down our Hertz customer.
Looks like I just missed her. She's a Hertz Gold Plus Rewards member, so no waiting in line at the counter for her.
That means she's able to pick any car she wants.
Skip the line and get right to your destination. That's why you go with Hertz.
So we didn't have to really travel too far. We didn't have to travel even away from city lights, to where you may find with some of these upcoming chances that you do need to head to dark areas, get away from some of the city lights and the light pollution. And you may also find that, well, we just don't have them as close. We're kind of really at the end of the season. That season typically runs over winter and into spring. So considering that we are seeing them in May, we're very lucky. And of course, it really just depends on how active the sun system is going to be, and also its projection as it sends that magnetic storm towards Earth. So it's a lot of forecasting that goes into it, and why space weather is also so much important and exciting, just like the Earth weather is. So as we switch gears here, a lot of us have been outside with the forecast lately. We've been finding that we have a little bit of a dip here. Yesterday and today was 60s. It's kind of where we should be at this point in May, but we have seen 70s, even some 80s. We've had a taste of it in parts of mid-Michigan. I know some of you are still waiting for those 80s to come in. Others, well, maybe you're not a fan of the heat, so you're just waiting for winter to return. But if you are a warm weather fan, you are going to find a little more heat in that 7-day forecast. You can find that on the Daily Tap and the TV5 First Alert Weather app. But with that warmth that we've had not only now, but back in the winter season, that actually allowed the ticks to arrive early. So that tick season was able to actually get going in February and March. That's traditionally, of course, a little bit early. In February, we don't want to have to think about ticks. We're just happy to have a nice day to be outside. A lot of times, though, they have some snow with them. So we've actually seen data come from the state of Michigan showing an increase in the tick population over the last 10 years. And that kind of correlates with some of the rising temperatures that we've also seen. So we are going to find that maybe if our climate is just a little bit more mild, that the ticks are going to like that and they're going to hang around. They just don't have that cold air that they're going to have to work with. But we also were able to speak with another expert, so I am going to turn it over to another TV5 reporter, Lenita Brooks, and to see what she learned on ticks for the upcoming season.
Experts say ticks got an early start after the warmest winter on record. And as it gets warmer, the potential health threat to you and your pets from ticks will go up.
TV5's Lenita Brooks spoke with the local veterinarian about how you can protect your pet. She joins us live in Saginaw. Lenita.
Yeah, with the very mild winter that we just had, a lot of ticks were able to remain active instead of dying off like they usually would. So much so that some experts are saying that tick season may have already reached its peak. I went by the Mid-Michigan Veterinary Hospital to find out ways you can protect your pets and yourself.
Ticks are hard to see because they're tiny, like little sesame seeds sometimes. And especially in a dog's thick fur or a cat's thick fur, good luck finding them.
Though ticks may be hard to spot, the CDC recommends performing daily checks on yourself and your pets. It's best to check immediately after being outside, even in your own yard.
It's really important to keep flea and tick medications on, definitely through the spring, summer, fall, depending on the dog or cat's lifestyle. Probably year-round if they're coming into contact with places where they could.
Dogs are particularly susceptible to tick bites and tick-borne diseases and can transfer them to others. Signs of tick-borne diseases may not appear for 7 to 21 days or longer after a tick bite, so it's important that you watch your dog closely for changes in behavior or appetite if you suspect that they have been bitten. It's best to check with your veterinarian to find out the best tick prevention product for your pet.
The medication will kill them in about 24 hours, and it takes about 48 hours for them to transfer.
Contact with a tick or need help identifying a tick, you can submit pictures to the State Health Department and submit that by email. We're live at Ojibwe Island. Lenita Brooks, WNEM TV5.
All right, Lena, thank you. And it's that time of year,
of course,
and there are
Lenita
ways
had
to...
some really good information there as far as how you can also report tick bites. That's going to be really helpful with the data as the state is working on managing the population and even knowing the different types of ticks. Of course, a lot of us associate any ticks with Lyme disease, so we do want to make sure that we kind of know what's going on in that bug world as far as what diseases we are seeing and, of course, the population on that. So, of course, again, if you do have those bites, seek medical attention attention if you start to have symptoms. The best advice is to just wear DEET. I know DEET is also going to work for mosquitoes. We've talked about that here on the First Alert Desk. So as far as kind of your summer essentials, it should be sunscreen and then the bug spray to get us through. It's a lot of fun outside. It's great here in the state of Michigan to enjoy the nature that we have, the setting. And as far as the weather, sometimes can be really nice here, maybe a little too warm in the summer, but we are overall going to want to be outside and enjoy it. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Don't forget about your pets too. Of course, as Dr. Danielle said, that the pets, we got to be checking them if they go out and come back in. Make sure you're going through and making sure that those ticks didn't kind of find a new host. So we do want to make sure that you and your pets, your family, everybody is safe going into the summer season. Now, again, I do want to remind you, if you have interesting weather photos as we go into severe weather season, or even just some nice, beautiful sunny day photos, you can share those with us on the TV5 First Alert Weather app. I have the QR code here for you to download. I'm sure a lot of you have it since you were joining us here on the stream. So you are going to find the conditions there for what we're experiencing, but you're also going to be able to see what the 7-day forecast has in store. You'll also get weather extras like this, and you'll also be able to use future radar, which is going to be a helpful tool when we do see that rain starting to come back into play, because we are tracking in your First Alert forecast rainfall coming in later this week. The timing of that may be creeping up a little bit forward. We're going to be seeing that Thursday night into Friday morning, and we do have some rain chances over the weekend. Now, I know that there's a lot of festivals, activities, there's a lot of fun to be had now that we're in the warmer weather season. So make sure you have the app to know for your weekend plans, but also to see if we can maybe dry out some of those rain chances for you as we go into the weekend. We'll also have an updated First Alert forecast coming your way at 4 o'clock right on air for TV5, and we'll also have that coverage continuing through the 6 o'clock hour. But I thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Hopefully you were able to kind of enjoy the Northern Lights one more time, but also be prepared for the tick season that's underway. So I'll send you off to your afternoon. Stay safe and enjoy.